Hey guys, this is Bruce from Hawks Motorsports. I wanted to make this video this morning to clear up some things about the new released GMMG chambered exhaust that we released yesterday. Answer some questions that I've seen on social media and clear up a few details. So number one, first and foremost, is the why. Why did we reproduce this exhaust? Back in the day, you know, we've been in business for 26 years now. I dealt with Matt at GMMG back in the day and purchased exhaust systems from him all the way up through last June. I dealt with Gary over at Mad Hammer Exhaust. Had great relationships with both of those guys. This is probably for us our go-to exhaust system. So when we found out Gary was retiring, obviously it was kind of a blow to us, and I worked real closely with Gary for several months trying to purchase the equipment that was actually broken. That was one reason he decided to retire. Was some of the original equipment that made the exhaust had failed. He couldn't find anybody to repair the equipment, and I just got the gist from him that he was tired and frustrated, and he you know, explained to us that he basically let some friends have all of his shop equipment, and he just wasn't going to do it anymore. We tried to purchase what we couldn't do it, so we decided as of June of last year that we were going to work with a local made in the USA manufacturer that's local to us here in South Carolina, and we were going to do what we could do to make the best product that we could make. It was already a really good product. There were a few small issues that we wanted to improve upon, and we really wanted to differentiate what we were making from the originals, because we're not trying to pass it off as an original, and there's a lot of differences throughout the years. I mean, I put my first exhaust on back in 2000, and we sold them, like I said, up until June of last year. So I'll go into a few of the differences between the original GMMG / Mad Hammer exhaust to what our Hawks Motorsports reproduction is going to be. So if you follow us in here, a couple of the small things. Number one are these two brackets that hold the two chambers together. The original unit had a strap that went across the top, and we just felt like it looked kind of messy. So we wanted to make something that held the chambers together a little bit better, held them in line, and I believe we done so. And we done that again to differentiate from the original exhaust system. These units, you know, were really tough to make, in that he, you know, to Gary's credit, when Gary built them, Gary was a professional pipe bender and was really good at what he done, and was a craftsman. I don't have anything negative to say. We worked with him for years, and he just, you know, he's got to the point where he's ready to get out of it. And so these things are really touchy. They're actually as a weld sequence to get everything to line back up in the jig and to fit the way you're going to expect it to fit as the end user. Along with these brackets, we actually improved upon this merge right here that goes from the 3-inch or 2 3/4 into the 2.5 inch pipes. So we actually made some special tooling to get this to be as close to original as possible and actually have a little bit tighter fitting clearances. This, going back to what I said earlier, this is our go-to exhaust because one reason it just falls on the car. I mean, you stick the back side up, you put the over axle over, the intermediate pipe, two simple bolt-ons. You can see here that we done our test fit on an unmodified 2002 Firebird. Goes up to the original Y pipe and bolts right up. I mean, it's just, I mean, fitment is just phenomenal. Took a few trial and run errors for us to get everything where we're happy with it. This particular exhaust does not have, there will be a, grab one here. There will be one of our Hawks Motorsport logos and GMMG logo that will be welded basically right here on every production exhaust system. So wanted to let everybody know that. Another comment that was made, we're talking about our reproduction oval tips. We've been making these for quite a while. They are a touch fatter than the original GMMG oval tips. The original ones were a little bit flatter, and these have a little bit more, I'm gonna call it fatness to them. They're about 1/8 of an inch higher overall. But there were some comments that talked about the fitment of these, that they actually, they don't clamp down. And that customers have to weld them. And something you guys got to realize is over the years, there were several different versions of the muffler. There were several different versions of the thickness of the material that was used. I was told this by Matt and by Gary when I dealt with Gary. And when we reproduced our tips, they did fit a little bit looser on some of the original GMMG exhaust, but with proper torque rating on the clamps, we were able to get them to clamp down fine. But we knew this, so when we made our reproductions, we went in and changed the thickness on the material slightly. So as you can see, and I'll show you here, these these tips are obviously bolted down firmly. You can't move them. You come in here, you loosen it up. Once you loosen it up, it'll show you it does move. And then we just simply go back in, tighten it down, and it fits just fine. So there's no issues with the tips. Something else I wanted to talk about on the tips, if you'll come over this way. So my first GMMG exhaust that I personally purchased, I bought through Matt back in 2000. I have a dark green 92 Firehawk that the GMMG was the cool thing, and I wanted that exhaust system on that car. So I actually drove down to his shop in Marietta, Georgia, and met with him and one of the technicians there. And we put my car up on a rack and installed an exhaust system on it. So when I reproduced this, I actually took that back off of my Firehawk and used a 2000 design model system to go off of. And if you see right here, here's a reproduction of that tip that was installed in 2000. This is the latest version that Gary shipped us from Mad Hammer back middle of last year. And then these are our reproduction oval tips. So our exhaust systems will ship with this polished tip here. This original design, we're just going to kind of do away with that because I think this is a much nicer piece. And this was the latest version of tip that we installed. And this is our optional oval tip. And again, guys, just keep in mind, my goal here was not to make an exact reproduction. My goal was not to pull the wool over anybody's eyes. This was simply working with GMMG Registry. Ryan and Aaron over there have been, and Jim Smith have been just awesome to deal with. My goal was to have everything in the limelight and everybody knew to know exactly what I was doing and to try to make the best reproduction piece that I could. And, you know, I think it speaks for itself. You know, now the consumer and the end user has this as an option again, and I think it's going to do really, really well for us. So I just wanted to clarify a few things, and I hope this makes some sense. We hope for you guys, if you have any more questions, hit us up at hawksmotorsports.com or give us a call and throw us a like in there. Thanks a lot, and big thanks to the GMMG Registry for working with us on this, and I hope you guys enjoy it in the future. Thank you very much.